Hey y'all, I don't know who this word is for, but the Lord is saying, unlike you, the enemy walks by sight and not by faith. He says, so do not be alarmed by what I may allow it to look like. He's saying, do not be fearful of the attacks of the enemy. You walk by faith and not by sight. But the enemy can only tell if his attacks are working based on what he sees. He watches for your reaction. He listens to what you speak. He studies your emotions. He pays attention to what is happening in the natural. God is saying, do not get caught up in appearances. Sometimes I allow things to look as if the enemy has succeeded. I allow situations to look as if you were defeated. I allow it to look as if the attacks landed. I allow it to look as if you're not going to make it out. I allow this because I know that this is what the enemy looks for. The enemy studies what he sees. He becomes confident based on the appearance of your situation. He reacts to what he sees in the natural, but he cannot see the spiritual outcome or the spiritual side of my plan. And he said, this is where many people miss it. The word says the enemy is an opposer. He fights against anything that looks like my will. As long as he sees things going in the opposite direction of what I have promised you, he feels satisfied. God says, as long as he sees that you're stressed, that you have no peace, that you're worried, that you're complaining about the attacks, he feels like he is winning. He finds confidence in the appearance of your discomfort because he opposes everything connected to your breakthrough. But God is saying, when the enemy becomes so focused on what he sees, he becomes distracted. He becomes convinced that the attack worked. He becomes sure that he has succeeded. And while he's watching the wrong thing, that's when I step behind the scenes and I begin to work you for your favor. That is when I move in the spirit. That is when I turn the situation around. It catches the enemy off guard because he thought his attacks landed. He thought the plan succeeded. He thought the pressure broke you. God says, but something happens when the enemy sends an attack and you choose to praise me anyway. When you choose not to complain, when you choose not to panic, when you refuse to give the enemy confirmation through your reaction. He says, this is why I'm calling you to be steadfast. This is why I'm calling you to draw closer to me and to keep your focus on me. This is what confuses the enemy, he says. The enemy only knows what you give him. He only feeds off of your reaction. So when he attacks, and you fall apart, he believes that he's on track. But when he attacks and you feel it, you see it, you experience it, yet you're not moved because you know I'm in control, that leaves the enemy confused and empty-handed. God's saying, I'm turning what looked like defeat into breakthrough. I'm turning what looked like pressure into promotion. The enemy is distracted by what he sees, but I'm working behind him and ahead of him. And I'm turning all of this, and I'm turning all of this in your favor. The scriptures he gave me were 2 Corinthians 5:7, for we walk by faith and not by sight.